Hey, it's us. We're here again for another review on Iyanla, Fix My Life. Got my homeboy Might Be with me. Say something, Might Be.
What it do?
And that's what he says. Let's get to it. We start off of we come back to when she just found out that he's having affairs with 5 different men while they were, I want to say her, Tiffany. We talk about Tiffany and Mitchell. And we find out that, or she finds out that he's had multiple relationships while they were married. And she just went blank. And shut down. And so Iyanla took it downstairs. She said, I don't want to talk to him. Tiffany said that. And so she said, come on, let's go outside. And that train never late. I said, here it comes. She's like, let's get on the dirt.
Yeah, take your shoes off.
She gave him the here it go, to feel it. Feel it in your toes.
Yeah.
And she's talking to her, so like tell me. Basically, it's like that was her question the whole episode. Tell me how you feel, girl, cause
Tiffany.
Yeah, cause you ain't giving me not one goddamn word.
Can we freestyle?
Go ahead.
Tiffany. Okay, just starting with Tiffany and Mitchell. Tiffany was semi pissing me off.
Yeah.
Like, cause why wouldn't you feel some type of way? Your husband or somebody that you used to love, you had kids with, just told you that they really didn't feel it for you because they were hiding who they were. They were into men. So you, not only should you feel used, you should be angry. Like, I can understand her feeling angry, upset.
You want something.
Yes, and then Iyanla kept asking, is there anything you want to say to him? No, nothing.
That was like, she asked that so many times. I'm like, no.
And it wasn't like, I don't want to ask that. Like, even saying nothing, she should have been angry about it. Maybe that's just in my opinion. But she was just so calm. Maybe she was so furious that she couldn't express her anger. You know what I mean? And then she realized that she was on TV and she didn't want to embarrass herself. Mm-hmm. But, and I'm sure this is why Iyanla kept bringing the question up because it didn't make sense. You should feel some type of way about what you just heard. This man defiled your bedroom multiple times. He didn't give a damn about you. He wasn't concerned in the kids. He was just being selfish and about him. Understandably, I can understand that he was dealing with whatever he was dealing with, but he should expect you to be angry.
So
he should expect that to come back at
him. Not even gay being an issue. That's just relationship.
Yeah, just cheating. It had nothing to do with him sleeping with men. I didn't even mention that. The fact that he was cheating around with someone else while he was married, she should have been pissed off and had a word or two for it. But maybe she just couldn't grasp how she actually felt. It didn't make sense to me. She was, it kind of helped me understand why Iyanla started going towards maybe he preyed on her.
Yeah.
Because he probably saw this in her. She's kind of got a meek spirit. Like, she's not aggressive.
Like I said, since we freestyle, she talked to Mitchell. And she was like, "This is that Sunday, the very next day."
Yeah, when Dad was supposed to do
his truth. And she talked to him. She talked to Mitchell, and she was like, when you first met her, how old were you? Like, she was 22. I was 32.
Yeah.
And he said, okay. How many? What was what was her diagrams like? How many children she had? She had 3 children by 2 different men. Mm-hmm. And like, okay, by 22, don't you have some antenna?
She said, as a minister, how did you minister? What kind of counsel did you give this young woman?
It seemed like his answer was so blasé.
Like, he probably wasn't even looking at her as this is someone who's actually vulnerable and she needs help. She needs counseling. She needs to know that. She needs to know something.
And then she posed a question. She's like, did you marry her to deny who you were? Or being gay? And did you do that just to mask? Was she like your beard?
Yeah, did you prey on this young woman?
Did you prey on, because you knew she was vulnerable, or she
because it's not, now, let's just be honest, it's not really. Well, I guess I don't really look at it that way, but she was 22.
Like she had taken advantage of.
She had 3 kids by 2 different baby daddies. So there are people out there who would say she's, she might be thottish, or hot to trot, or, she's damaged goods.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to take on that burden of having to raise
Like
someone else's
he went
kid.
for it.
And he gravitated towards that.
Being a minister also.
And not only did it look good for him as a gay man trying to disguise who he was, but it looked good for her coming from what people might say a damaged background or broken background to now she's the first lady.
Mm-hmm.
So, both of them look good right now.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was his thought process. Like, I can hook her up.
Now I got the perfect life somewhat, and I can mask what, how I really feel, or, what's really going on with me.
And I'm sure
I can marry it away.
After a few conversations, he recognized that she wasn't the confrontational type. Mm-hmm. Like, she would just kind of believe what he said, because ultimately he's the pastor, and why wouldn't she believe that the pastor's telling her what's right for her?
That's what she told Iyanla. Like, I trusted him. She like, because he was a minister. You're like, yeah, it seemed like the past dealings, the 2 men, 3 different, and 3 children by 2 different men. You would think like she had some trust issues, and so the first man to actually show her some trust attention, okay, this what I want. This is what I need,
right? And plus, he's a man of God.
That was the clue. And that's why I think Iyanla came back, like, did you pray on? Did you see something in her? Okay, she'll be good. I can just pull this under the cover with, and she ain't gonna say nothing, It was crazy how that,
Let's because we got to come back to this.
Oh yeah, we know. Let's stop right there.
Okay, let's
we're
go
gonna come back to
Iyanla quick, because we got to come back to Mitchell. Because I got some shit to say. I still got.
She asked about the praying on her, while they were about to go to Derek's church, so he can tell his congregation and come out about him being a gay minister.
Right.
And so we're there. He's in his office, and he was feeling nervous. She prayed for him. She brought in some other folk.
And she got her prayer warrior.
Her I guess, man.
They didn't look. They was praying. They didn't look like prayer warriors. They didn't have the garb. What you mean? You make it seem like they had to have on a hat and a sign. I am the third prayer warrior.
And that's probably the sign she would use messing with the young. God damn it. But hey, they prayed for him, and so he goes out. His congregation, his family there. Mitchell, the other minister, he's there for support, and Derek goes out. He tells the story about him being abused. Go ahead. Like you want to elaborate.
No. I don't want to. I'll let you elaborate, but I appreciated the fact that he excused the kids
out
of the congregation before he started telling about the sexual abuse, because that made that's a little too heavy.
You needed mature ears,
right? So
and I'm pretty sure some some adults probably should have left with the kids, because they ain't shit either.
He talked about his sexual abuse and talked about how. At that moment, he kind of questioned his sexual orientation. Yeah. He don't know if the abuse was a reaction or
or did it trigger what already was in him.
Right.
And I think he told us that earlier, past couple episodes ago. Yeah. He had that same connotation, but he told his congregation. And it seemed like it was received well how they showed it. They didn't show nobody like walking out. It wasn't negative.
It did. And I thought that was kind of strange.
Well, they had a couple of people, when
they interviewed after the fact. But I'm like, if your pastor get up and you're following and you believe a certain thing about the Bible and church and God, like I felt like everybody just seemed like everybody was accepting. And I'm like, is this realistic?
Or maybe they just wasn't rude about it.
Okay, I can understand that too.
They may have some reservations, but they just gonna make a scene.
Right. And I was glad, the family was there. His father was still warring with it.
Before he talked, boy, the dad was like, but it's a father, man.
I totally understood.
It's your son. That's about to just.
And then that lets you know,
pour his heart out.
First of all, he probably still feels like he did something wrong. And then also you realize that your son is opening up this door of ridicule, abuse, harassment, and there's really nothing you can do to protect him from that.
Yeah,
so I feel like his father was kind of dealing with all that because you want to protect your kids.
It seemed like how he was looking like this is the last place he wanted to be. The dad. I'm like,
he would rather be at the bar and call me when it's over, or if some shit pop off and I need to come through.
I love you, son. But no.
But he also, afterwards, he let his son know, I'm proud of you. He was
you're the proudest man, or bravest man I know. Man, I'm proud of you. It was excellent in as far as supporter of your son, dealing with whatever he's dealing with.
Because that is, still your child.
Yes.
Now, a part of me thought, like, okay, if Iyanla and the cameras and all that wasn't there, how would this situation have been handled?
That's a good answer.
Because
question.
Derek held on to that. He said, that was a gift. I felt like that was a gift from my father for him to tell me that I was the bravest man that he knew.
Yeah.
And Iyanla was like, hey, you denied him that gift because you've been hiding and living this life for so long. And that's what made me think, like, okay, would he feel the same way? Would his father have the same reaction if the cameras weren't here? Or would it have been more of a negative type of situation?
I think the dad would have felt it, because we saw him without the church or, fanfare. It was just them.
But it was still Iyanla and the cameras.
But you felt some type, you felt that the dad
I think anybody would, in a situation like that where you're faced with something so, like this big, huge topic, I feel like your initial reaction might be to be angry, because he said how his father used to be, and the fact that he was a police officer and he just wasn't a nice guy. Well, so I felt like he probably would have had more.
He
probably would
have
came around. But initially I felt like he probably would have had more of a not even wanting to deal with it. Like, don't talk to me about that bullshit right now. Give me a few days.
But sometimes you need that. That's
the point I'm getting at. It was good that she was there to help soften and then explain to the parents kind of what's going on and help direct them to to how to handle this, and also to help Derek with it, in this situation too. So that's what I was going to get at. I appreciate Iyanla for this type of mediation.
Yeah, it was good for. It seemed like it was a good conclusion with Derek. She talked with him. She had him in the background with him and his family, and saying, just thanking the parents. I'm glad this is a good support system for him. You raised him right. Is like you said in the past, when for some reason he still has somewhat of a sane mind and still going on, and from just you raising him well, and whatnot.
And then what we kind of hinted to, but we didn't really talk about, is the fact that after they did the little church service, they were interviewing some of the church members, and not everybody was on board with it, and that to me made it seem more realistic.
Really, they actually had some opinions.
Right, some people was bringing up it's an abomination. Some people was like, I can't imagine being led by this gay pastor or whatever. They may come around. But at least, like, this is what we're kind of used to seeing. People, since you've been taught to believe this way, why would it change now because the cameras are there? And so I was glad that they allowed some people to just speak their piece, and they didn't kind of shun them. Just, okay, this is how you feel. All right.
That's pretty much on there. It ended, nice.
Yeah.
And then we come back from commercial, and it seemed like a whole new show.
Yes.
Start. And right before that happened, I said, "Oh, Mitchell and Tiffany need their own show."
Because the way it ended, Tiffany was outside. Didn't really want to talk about it. She said, "The one thing I want him to do, I ain't got no questions for him. I don't want to say anything to him aside from give me time."
Yeah, that's when I think she took it out to like the pier, and she asked it again. Do you have any questions
you want to say to this man? Because it's not making sense to Iyanla, and again, like I mentioned at the top of the show, it's not making sense to me. Why aren't you angry? Why don't you want to know anything?
Well, you know what?
She just forgetting.
And she said that you not feeling any type of way is like a detriment to your kids. Like you don't have
as a mother, you don't have that
privilege or luxury to just feel nothing.
Numb.
Yeah, you got kids to raise. You got to be I ain't gonna say play nice, but you got to have some type of communication with these are the kids' father. So he's gonna be in their life you know, in mine, not even my body, but in mine at least, they know.
They know we.
Yeah, it ain't like you just disappear and it's just, you know. So you gonna have some type of, you know, communication with the man, or some type of civility where, you know, dealing with them, or not. You know, it's gonna be it's bad enough. She said it's bad enough that you going through a divorce, but now, you know, that you're dealing with the dads being gay. So, you know, you got double. And it's just, you know, you gotta,
and you're not really trying to deal with it.
Yeah, you just like, no,
like close your eyes. Okay, it doesn't exist. That type of treatment. Iyanla said this was like the first time she had to double back.
She was like, she said, "Are you a mute or a fool? Because you ain't saying nothing." She seemed like Iyanla was getting more pissed.
And I was here for it because I was getting the same type of festivity. You know, Iyanla was like, "Hey, at least you should ask him. Did he prey on you?" Like, because like I mentioned, based on how it all went down, how convenient it seemed to be for Mitchell, then it seemed like, you know, she was just a pawn in his game. He was trying to deny who he was.
You know, and she's like, you know, don't you have a voice? No, something. And so she just kept just. And so later on, she brings them together so they can, you know, still have this discussion that, you know, that they haven't been having. And she posed that question to her again, like, do you have something to say to this man? Either don't you think, you know, he felt some type of way marrying you, and him somewhat knowing he was gay, and I think what was the question she asked? She's like, oh no, Iyanla. That's when Iyanla, she was like, hit him.
And Tiffany said, I'm not gonna hit him.
And he was like,
what kind of counseling was this? I bet you he was regretting, because Iyanla said she came back because also he was pissed off at the way it kind of ended.
Like,
she made him
he didn't want to tell all his truth.
Yeah, he wanted to tell a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't want to say, you know, I cheated, but I didn't want to tell about the last 3 on Craigslist. You know, that type deal. You know, and she was like, hit him. And then I think she knew that wasn't why she was not. If not physically, you know,
you hit him with your words.
Hit him with your words, verbally, psychologically. I just want him to hurt, you know.
Yeah.
You know, she wanted him to like feel what, you know, how the situation actually is, like,
and how it actually is affecting her. Yeah. Because the fact that she's sitting there and she's numb to the bullshit and not saying anything, and then having to deal with what to say to her kids alone, makes no sense.
And finally, Tiffany said a little bit of something. She's like, you made me feel more difficult to properly. It made it more difficult to properly raise our children, and plus, you know, dealing with my issues on top of that.
Right.
You didn't make the situation better. You know, with you know, coming to this relationship, I already got 3 kids by 2 different fathers, and I'm dealing with all that, and now you bringing this, and it's totally, you know, seemed like off the wall, you know, dealing with this. And then she was like, well, why did you marry me? He said, you know, I wanted you to be my wife. And y'all like, she said, I would smack the taste out your mouth, and you wouldn't feel it until this week. I was like,
she was so over it. Because, like she mentioned, she's like, you keep saying everything that's kind of convenient to you. You want to tell small truths, but keep it to yourself.
To me, because the second episode, when she asked like, how do you feel now that, you know, we've talked and done this and everything, he like, I feel free. I think he's on the free mode. Like, I have no convictions of nothing. You know, I said whatever. I ain't gonna say to hell with everybody, but to hell with everybody. I'm free now. You know, I'm out. I'm free. I'm gay, and that's how we gonna do it. And y'all like, hold up, brother. I will
smack the taste out your mouth.
And you know, he was adamant about like that. I wanted to be my wife. You know, I had no intention of hurting you.
And you know, when he was saying that, a part of me felt maybe he didn't. But
you knew you were gay, though.
That's what it is.
You knew how you was gay, so it ain't gonna end unless you didn't go say nothing to nobody and did nothing.
And then the fact that he kept saying, if I knew then what I knew now.
But
I guess that's as far as people accepting him being gay.
Yeah.
He would have never did it. So that's right there is your admission to you using this woman in order to try to protect your secret.
Yeah, and then she asked another. She had a few questions by the end. She was like, what point did you feel like, it was pretty much done, or I shouldn't be married anymore? And he was like 2006. I'm like, that's early.
How quick he asked. He had that answer ready. 2006.
And that's when he started having relations with the men. Like, I like this.
And that's when he realized
something I've been denied for far too long. And he said, okay, that woman ain't gonna do nothing for me, I guess. And then that's what he felt. And she finally somewhat opened up, and posed those questions. And go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, like, I like the fact that Tiffany was shut down. How do you expect to get over whatever this is you're feeling without having the conversation?
Yeah.
Even though
like it's just gonna walk away.
And the fact that this is how she deals with problems.
Just shut down
immediately.
Like it's just like somebody pulled her plug, and she's how you feel?
She don't even remember.
You don't feel nothing.
She don't remember words. Like she's been drugged.
Yeah. And
that's. I mean, especially like Iyanla was saying, as a mother of 5, you got too many kids, and they're coming to you with questions.
Yeah, you the one. You they Iyanla, and you ain't giving them shit.
Yeah, because she don't have her own voice.
No, not at all. Like you can't. You're not helping the situation of not dealing. You just, and then you're gonna raise your children to feel that shut down. I'm pretty sure one of her kids are like her. Out of 5, at least one of them deal with things.
How you deal with
it. I'm just gonna not say nothing. And then, we get on the news, somebody done,
shot up a school.
They done blew up now, they got all this emotion. And of course, it's going to lash out in violence or somebody getting hurt, because they done kept that, deep down all the damn time. It was crazy. And he finally said, okay, I married you because I was denied, denied my truth. And he said he apologized, and it seemed like it was the same thing that happened last episode. Him crying and saying, it wasn't my intention, that type deal. And so she was basically, and Iyanla said, I'm not in your corner, I'm not in her corner. I'm here for the children. That's because y'all acting like fools right now. Y'all, this is not getting handled, and these kids out here, y'all throwing them in the water, to be eaten by sharks. And so,
I wonder if he's open and available for his kids as far as like them asking questions about like.
Well, she said, they still see their father. And,
I know, but I can't imagine him talking to them.
Him asking questions
because they come to her.
Yeah, they said they didn't say that. I don't think they come to that
to the daddy. He probably changes. He knows he's good at.
I'm pretty sure they trust is a little bit different for him now. They might not feel they might not feel he's worthy enough. Like they let it's fragile with kids. You let them down. Okay, I my mama is the one I could talk to, or have or I feel comfortable asking. She might not give me an answer, but I can at least pose the question or something.
And like that right there would make me want to at least try my best to mend this. It don't have to be a friendship. It's not really a relationship, but we have to co-parent.
Just be simple with
so that they, when my kids have questions about me, they know they can come to me.
Yeah, let them. If you piss her off,
if you piss her off, then and that's who they go to.
That communication is
then they're gonna feel the same way about you that she feels about you. So if she hates you, the kids are gonna hate you because you don't have a voice inside their relationship. And did you see when the Iyanla had those guys come through at the end? His brothers. I'm like, Iyanla better not have went and found 2 of the men that he slept with.
Well, real interventions. If you don't want to talk now,
let them tell it. Ask them. I said,
now,
Lord.
this Craigslist 5 and this Craigslist 4.
I said, Lord, please.
And then
this all changed.
They would have loved hip hop all of a sudden. They just get them a scenario. Now go act the fool. You know.
Yeah. But then it ended up being his brothers, and they were just there, like,
you know, we you know, what all was going on, we still love you. You know, we still support you and the kids.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing different. It seemed like
they were
she
supporting
smiled
both of
when
them.
they came in, so it seemed like she had a good relationship with them. You know, it wasn't like, you know, one of them. You know, here his brother, here type deal. You know, it seemed like they were cool.
There go his dumb ass.
Yeah,
it wasn't that.
But you know, and then they gave us a little recap, like they still really haven't talked.
Because she wanted them to go to family council.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. They really haven't still talked with each other. And she said the kids are still. She's the one that the kids go to,
right?
As far as
which
questions.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think she's denying the kids to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think it's that type of situation. But and you know, and we missed. They had a little. Remember the conversation with. She had them two when she went to go talk to Tiffany by herself. She had the two ministers, and they had that little conversation. They was talking about, you know, man, you know, it's a lot. He said, you know about He said, do you know like any like? Yeah, you know, it's a lot. And so, man,
it's not just in the choir.
Nah.
Now we see it's in the pulpit too.
It's in the pulpit. Well, it's everywhere in the church, brother. And so,
that was the conclusion of the 3-part segment.
This part series. They didn't give us nothing like, okay, the one with the booty.
Yeah, that's coming on there. I'm just saying, like that storyline.
Yeah, that's
is wrapped up.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a conclusion. What's your thoughts, Mike B?
I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I feel like it.
It seems like that's one of the ones I think they should have like a. Now I would like to see like a 6 month or year follow up, and actually see like Derek's like congregation.
Yeah, because we didn't get a response like an update on how the congregation is handling Derek as far as after he came out.
They kept on telling us clips, you know, about 3 or 4 people, you know, whispering in his ear, you know, I'm proud of you, or you know, you doing a good thing, or just giving them encouragement. But you know.
Because there are still people that don't care. Like, it's not really what you doing in your bedroom is not affecting me, you know. But then when it's coming from the preacher, who you know, other people feel some type of way. Like you're supposed to be the one leading us a certain way.
And this is actually the religion that speaks against
it. Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, you know, how can you be I can see if you know repentant of it, but the question is, how are you living openly when you know your religion and speaks against it, but you still openly, you know, and still practice
just
that.
Like Mitchell.
Yeah,
you know, he's open with it too.
But you know, I can't put nothing past nobody, because it's the same as somebody that ain't homosexual. You know, you still got, you know, hoes, thieves. You know, you know, believe it or not, there's a lot of preachers cheating.
Oh yeah, that's why I guarantee you there's more of those,
and that's that's more acceptance. So you know, hey, all the Christian folk pray for our church. You know, everybody, you know, live right, righteous, I should say.
That's all we got.
That's it, folks. Till next time.
Peace.